Hello, StarCraft fans. This is Moletrap, and I'm here once again with Cholera and Rise. And I'm making an effort not to forget my co-commentators to introduce them a couple times. I apologize to probably to you guys actually for in the past. I get so excited about introducing the game, I forget to say who. Sometimes I even forget to say who I am. And most of you guys know me already, you know us pretty well, but sometimes new people watch and they're like, who the hell are you? They're like, is that Violtac? Is that Klazard's brother? What? What's going on? Is that Klazard's wife? No, I am Moletrap. And fOrGG is Terran, and Stork is Protoss. This is, I believe, on Athena. And, yeah, should be an exciting game. Stork took game one pretty solidly against fOrGG. fOrGG, now this is a best of three, so fOrGG has to win this game and the next game if he wants to take the series. All Stork needs to do is take one of those two games, and he will proceed to the round of 8, the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and if Stork's play is anything like it's been in the past, I don't know, 20 games or so, I think he's got a really great chance of taking this match. I mean, really, he's been just, especially if he goes Reavers, which he seems to always do. It's just one of the most ridiculous micros I think I've seen in my life of watching StarCraft. I can't believe how insane this kid is with Reaver micro. So I'm hoping to see some more of this in the coming games, and hopefully we do. But fOrGG, also a very solid player. I actually think he's a little overrated. I'll probably get some disagreement there, which is cool. But I think that he kind of is a little overrated because he's played well in the past, and I just don't think he's as consistent of a player as Stork has been, especially in the last 25 games or so. I mean, it's just insane how consistent Stork has played. He's got to be practicing constantly, but I think that overall Stork is just a little bit higher in his play level these days than fOrGG.
Wow, and Stork has taken a big risk here. By the way, this is Cholera and not Diggity. Sometimes, maybe 1 out of every 5 commentaries, someone says, who's that guy commentating? Is that Diggity? And then people give him, like, -5 thumbs down. So, yeah, no, I am Cholera and not Diggity, although I guess the smoothness of our voices supposedly makes us sound similar. But, anyway, Stork taking a kind of a big risk here, going for the 14 Nexus, trying to get an early advantage here. fOrGG is the reigning MSL champion, for those of you who weren't following the last couple of, well, the last season, I guess. Looks like he's going to actually go for a 2-factory build here, I believe. No, I think that was just his first factory. Sorry. He's probably is going to go for the 2-fact, though, because he's still mining gas, because normally if you're going to go for that fast expand, you would stop mining gas at this point, or you'd only have 1 SCV on gas. Anyway, he's going to now scout Stork here. Stork obviously has nothing to block his ramp, and the SCV will get in. He's going to see what's going on, and maybe he's going to switch into a 2-factory build here to try and get an early push on. Otherwise, he is going to take a little bit of a economic disadvantage if he doesn't push early because of the very early expansion from Stork. But doesn't look like he's putting down a factory just yet. He could, though. By the way, my opinion on fOrGG is that he's very much of a studied player. He plays very well when he has time to practice and come up with a counter build against his opponents, like he did against Flash and then Jadon last season in the MSL. But I just don't feel like he's so strong when he just has to play lots of opponents in a row. He just hasn't done that well. And it looks like he's bringing a couple Marines out to try to do an early push, I guess.
I am actually really fearful for Stork at the moment. He, fOrGG coming in here with a little bit of an early push, the Zealot's going to be able to take care of that Marine real quick. But fOrGG pushing in real quick, fOrGG's nickname in Korea is Time Attacker, because he's so good at getting timing attacks and attacking at just the right moment when your opponent is vulnerable. And Stork is vulnerable right this moment, and it looks like fOrGG is thinking about getting an attack going on here. And yeah, Stork knows it, running his probes out of his expansion, knowing that an attack is coming. fOrGG never took SCVs off gas, so he had plenty of gas to start building more units with. And Stork going in here, the bunker's being built. Stork's going to try and take out those Marines before they can get in the bunker, but it's just not working. There's just too much firepower going on here. Stork is not holding this off very well at all. He's going to have to abandon his expansion, I think. I don't think he has enough forces to hold this off at the moment. He's going to have to fall back to his ramp, take that disadvantage going into the middle of the game. And the other thing I was thinking, actually, is that Stork was probably spending most of his time practicing for the OSL semifinal, which we're not going to spoil in this, but he's probably placing the OSL semifinal, giving it more priority than this. and so he might not have even been practicing this map or this matchup at all, and maybe that's why we see him going for a 14 Nexus, just trying to, figuring if he can hold off the 14 Nexus for the first 7 minutes of the game, then he'll have an easy win and he won't have to have a practice strategy. I don't know, that might have counted into it as well. It looks like Stork, he's setting up to do some kind of a surrounding here. He's got some Dragoons outside of the bunker. Probably going to come in and try and take out that bunker right before it kills off his Nexus, is what I would imagine.
I think he's actually waiting for range, and I think he might have just gotten range, so he can outrange that bunker. And now he's going to be able to take that bunker without losing that Nexus or too many Dragoons in the process, with the exception of apparently a probe. But that hurt Stork a lot. I mean, he's way behind now. He definitely lost a lot of probes in trying to take out that bunker before it went up, which he did unsuccessfully, obviously. And he's just been off mining from that Nexus for a while, and that's just wasted minerals. In the meantime, fOrGG obviously is the time attack king, because that really was perfect timing, and he's taking that and putting it to his advantage in making his own fast expansion. Well, his own expansion, certainly not a fast expansion at this point. It looks like a robotics facility has gone down for Stork at this time, and also Stork is going for another expansion, so potentially overextending himself a little bit here, considering how many probes he just lost. I'm not entirely sure that's a good idea, and I think that that may come back to bite him now, because fOrGG is just going to get that expansion running and start pumping troops out of what looks to be 2, or maybe he's already set up his 3rd and 4th factory. I kind of missed it. Observatory going down first for Stork, so it looks like he's going to try to play it a little safer and see what's coming his way, but I don't think he's in a good position right now.
Yeah, by the way, for those of you who've been watching these games in order as we upload them, I believe Firebat Hero versus Tempest will be right before this. So do take a look and compare these two situations. It's actually this is not going to spoil anything. It's the same location, same map, and same sort of basic strategy opening up for both players here. Going for that early second expansion that Stork is right now. That's what Tempest did in that game. Anyway, I won't give away too much of it. Just really interesting comparison between the two players, and it looks like we are going to see similarly. fOrGG is going to go for that early armory and get his upgrades going quickly. So it seems like this map definitely has some very conventional builds going for it, and it seems that both players are going to go for that. I think this is a Terran favor map, so the Protoss wants to get an early economic advantage. Stork tried it with the 14 Nexus. It sort of succeeded, and then he lost a lot of probes. And now he's going to try again with this double expand, because he knows he needs to take that economic advantage. Otherwise, the fact that this map has all those plateaus around, what it does is it makes it very hard to surround the Terran army, the Terran tank, Vulture, Mine, Lakey, and Ball. It's just very hard to surround, and a Protoss player needs to surround that to take out the Terran. So it's going to be very difficult for Stork, I think, in the long term, if fOrGG continues playing as well as he has so far in this game.
Yeah, this is coming out pretty interesting. Stork here has his 2 expansions up now. I think I'm going to give a slight advantage to Stork economically, because he didn't actually lose that Nexus, and that was critical. If he had, he would have been at a severe disadvantage, but he didn't actually lose the Nexus. He was able to go right back to mining as soon as he took out that bunker. Now, yeah, I'm finding it really hard not to talk about Fire Hero versus Tempest, actually, because it is turning out to be very similar. But what I will say is that Stork has gotten observers first, and he's seen exactly what's going on in fOrGG's base. He sees that there's mines everywhere. He sees that there's no turrets, and I wonder if fOrGG actually might have been even trying to tempt Stork into doing a Reaver drop on the mines and losing his Reavers or something like that by not having turrets on purpose. But Stork, however, he's not going to go for Reavers at this point. It looks like he's seen that fOrGG is kind of prepared for this, and he's going to go straight for Templar attack, or at least for the Citadel. Sometimes they just go for speed lots, but I would expect Stork to try and get some early Templar out at this point. Just kind of interesting how things are playing out here. It's kind of standard openings in a way, but it's not turning out to be a standard game. And Stork pushing in here, going to take out a couple tanks and fall back. Very nicely done. Stork very good at putting on the pressure and sniping units off. That's exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every time that he keeps the pressure on, fOrGG can't push in and start up that, like you were talking about, difficult to stop tank push and general just Terran pushing, because he's like with the plateaus and everything in the middle, he really is going to have a lot of trouble stopping up any type of Terran push. So he's going to have to play it smart, and I think you're right. I think he's got to get that tech early to avoid being in a strictly Zealot Dragoon situation trying to stop that when you can't really maneuver the way you need to. And fOrGG getting a couple of Goliaths out, so it looks like he's prepared for any drop shuttles that will be around. And there is a drop shuttle there now. I don't know what he has in the drop shuttle because I missed. I don't know if they showed him loading anything up, but it looks like Stork may actually put some more pressure on, but I can't believe he hasn't pushed in when they weren't sieged up. And now trying to drop, looks like Zealot bombs in that after all. And losing that shuttle real quickly to those Goliaths, which is huge. He's trying to push in against a lot of tanks with only Dragoons, but doing a really good job. He's actually getting pretty far in there. And now the Zealots are coming in to join him, but the Spider Mines are going to slow him down a little bit. And a lot of Dragoons going down to that Spider Mine. And the Zealots just pushing in on the tanks at the last second. It would have been nice if they were there a little bit sooner, but he does not have speed Zealots, and that is hurting him most definitely, but doing a lot of damage to the economy of fOrGG at this point with his Dragoons. Although as soon as some tanks come up on that ledge, I don't know what he'll be able to do. Stork keeping the pressure on and trying to take out the command center at the same time, and fOrGG starting to make some troops up at the top, but it looks like he may actually get that command center. The Dragoons firing feverishly at it before. But he's repairing it too quicker than he could take the damage out, and fOrGG just barely saving that command center. And now with his troops out, he's going to block off with the SCVs, and he's basically going to clean up this little attack, and Stork's going to have to back off. I don't think he's going to be able to break this at this point.
Wow, that was some clutch repair work there by 10 SCVs repairing that command center. I am very surprised it survived. Certainly, though, Stork has taken an advantage, I feel. He's taken out all of the Terran player fOrGG's army, and of course the Protoss is much quicker to rebuild than the Terrans are in general. Stork at 3 bases also, and fOrGG barely at 2 bases. His second base is probably still under siege, and probably he can't safely mine from it. Maybe he has managed to lift things. Well, hold on for a sec, that's my dog. But anyway, my dog is expressing how cool that attack was by Stork, not waiting for Reaver Tech or anything like that, just going straight Bulldog style in there with his speed shuttles, with his shuttle rather, and his Zealot drops. Looks like he's going to try to go again for this, but I don't think it's going to work this time. Whoa, that's a lot of suicidal Zealots there. He's pushing up 5 Dragoons on this ramp. Wow, he's going to pick off, there's still 1 tank left up there, so it's going to barely manage to hold here for fOrGG, but Stork's doing a good job of keeping the unit count very low for fOrGG, but looks like fOrGG managing to get a Vulture sneak somehow into Stork's base, but wow, Stork with some clutch reinforcements coming out at that time, and Stork has a nice little pylon gate almost there, and now Stork is picking up his 4th base here. I think Stork is way in the lead at this point.
That was pretty good. All he needs is well, I guess there's no grid. Never mind. Yeah, Stork. I'm not sure how fOrGG is gonna try and come back into this game. Stork has been putting a lot of pressure on him. I think the critical thing is that, well, never mind. I just realized Stork has 4 bases actually. fOrGG is gonna have to do a lot of harassment. I think he's gonna come back. A lot of Vulture harassment. He's trying to do that, but it's not really working very well. So I think that's kind of the way that he should try and come back in this game, or at least that's the way that traditionally Protoss players do try and come back in this game. He does have a Goliath out there. It's going to scare that shuttle off. Critically, though, Stork has been he's spent the last few minutes throwing away his armies on fOrGG's front door to try and break him. And I think if Stork had just played conservatively and taken the map, he'd be in a lot better position. Stork just too anxious to finish this off, going in, as you said, without even speed Zealots at that point. And now we see his whole army is consistent of 8 Dragoons and 4 or 5 Zealots, and a shuttle. And he doesn't even, I don't think I've even seen him get Templar tech yet at this point. So I don't know. I think Stork might have given up his advantage there, and it might not be too good if fOrGG's basically been let back into this game, and fOrGG now pushing in on Stork's natural. Well, it's interesting to see if fOrGG's going to be able to accomplish enough with this tank. He's only got 1 tank, so I don't know how much he's going to be able to do here, but Stork in a little bit of trouble, though.
Yeah, I mean, that contain is already set up around him, and Stork, you can see, is already being affected by it. He can knock it out, and now there's a lot of tanks there, and it doesn't look like Stork's going to be able to push out of there. He definitely does not have the army to push out of there, and I think and now he's trying to push into it, and I don't think he has the forces that can that can really support this type of attack. fOrGG with a lot of vultures to take care of those zealots, but those zealots on the tank, so he may break this after all. No, he's lost almost all of his dragoons, so this is going to go down, and Stork definitely in a lot of trouble now because he's got no forces at this point. What, 5 units? And fOrGG just kind of tightening up the stranglehold right now outside of his base. A DT out, but scan quick enough, way quick enough to take care of it. And it looks like Stork just, again, throwing away units that he does not have to throw away. And he's going to lose all these, trying to take out the tank. It barely does. And now he's going to be able to handle the vultures, but still, fOrGG is right outside of his base. A ton of spider mines and enough tanks to at least keep the dragoons back from taking out those spider mines. And now he's forced back in his base, and that means that fOrGG has him separated. So Firebat Hero, Firebat Hero. Sorry about that. Stork not going to be. I've been thinking about him so much lately, you know. Stork not going to be able to get out of here, and his bases are separated. So fOrGG is going to be able to pick off one side of his base at once, and there's nothing that Stork's going to be able to do about it. I think he should have switched to carriers, guys.
Well, Stork has a lot of gateways here, but he still has not made any Templar attack. I think he's just perhaps just lacked the resources to constantly rebuilding his army. One thing I want to note, though, is that fOrGG has been doing a great job scanning and sniping observers, and that's really helped him tighten this noose of vulture mines and tanks around it, because Stork couldn't move out. All of his observers kept getting scanned and killed by Goliaths, and now Stork is going to have to push out here through a very narrow choke point here. Is he going to be able to do it? I don't know. Looks like there's still 3 tanks alive. Stork trying to pull out. Of course, he's aiming for the tanks. Those are what do the most damage to his dragoons, and he's not going to be able to push out here. There's just too good of a position here from fOrGG. Stork looks like he's going to lose his entire army here. With this army gone, I just don't know how Stork's going to possibly break out here. I think he might lose, unfortunately, due to just a very, very good counterattack from fOrGG and very, very nice observer sniping. Stork trying to drag some mines into the tank. Looks like he will get one tank there with that nice little zealot drop. But I think the Goliaths so far have been the most impressive part of fOrGG's plays. Of course, another thing is that fOrGG probably is way ahead on upgrades. I don't think they've checked recently, or I haven't seen it recently, but I think that's going to definitely help his army here as Stork tries once again to break out.
He's 1-1.
Yeah, you're right about. Yeah, just 0-1 upgrades. It looks
okay,
like
he's 1-1. Yeah.
fOrGG, but yeah, I think that one of the things that fOrGG's been doing well is targeting the shuttles with the Goliaths. Sometimes the Goliaths will switch their fire to the Zealots, and they won't do nearly as much damage, tactically speaking, as they will if they target that shuttle. So now fOrGG, after 5 minutes of siege, laying siege to Stork's base, is finally moving into his natural, and in the meantime, fOrGG has taken another base. So, and there goes the Nexus. So right now, 3 base versus 3 base. Stork putting up a 4th, but he is pinned in his base right now. He has this ramp to hold, but one of the things I'm curious about, I'm wondering why he hasn't built more gateways here on other bases. Okay, here's one gateway there. That expansion is going to get taken out, though, it looks like. No, Dark Templar might come in there and help things out, but I think it would have been good for Stork to maybe build some more gateways outside of his base, come in for a flank from his main and from outside or something like that. But I think the best thing would have been kind of like what Rise said. If when he took that advantage from fOrGG earlier in the game, instead of suiciding his army into fOrGG's door, he should have held the map and gone carriers like Rise said. And I think that would have clinched it for him. But it looks like at this point it's going to go to game 3. And either player, whoever wins that 3rd game, is going to be going on. I guess game's not quite over yet, but I don't know. It's practically over. Rise, do you think Stork has any chance anymore?
No, if you look, he's only actually mining from 1 base right now because he lost his natural expansion. His main is already mined out. He just lost another expansion, so he's only mining from 1 base and trying to get a second one up, but fOrGG is getting up a 4th base, and I think he's about to get up a 4th base anyway. But it looks like that base, that last mining base of his, is going to go down to fOrGG's onslaught at this point. And oh no, he did get a 2nd base up and running in that time period. So fOrGG, for some reason, mining from minerals without a command center there. But I guess he's planning to build something there at some point. And it looks like, yeah, he is going to lose that 3rd expansion 2nd expansion that he made originally. And Stork's just trying to do some zealot bombs to harass a little bit, but there's not going to really be much of an effect on this, especially considering he's just unsieged. And I got to say, I think Stork is pretty much out of the game at this point.
Yeah, I think Stork honestly should conserve his energy and GG at this point. He does have to face fOrGG again in a few minutes only, because games 2 and 3 are played on the same day. So there is that psychological aspect to StarCraft, which is very, very important at the top levels. And certainly it's been a factor for Stork too. When Stork is on fire, he is on fire. But when he's not, I mean, he's choked so many times in the past. Not as bad as some player like C Shield or something, or a Savior, but certainly still a player who's whose emotions do play a role in his games. Unlike other players, I'd say like Nada, it really doesn't matter. His declines have been more due to skill loss. But anyway, though, Stork going for the last charge. GG coming from Stork. Yeah, so this is going to go to the set 3 right now. Set 3 is going to be on Medusa, which is going to be, I think, a little bit favored towards Stork, actually.
All right, let's go do it. GG, and looking forward to game 3.